Hi guys, welcome to Real Talk Jamaica, where no topic is off limit. I'm your lovely host, Quanna Harris. Well, today we are back at it with what you bring to the table, part 2. Yes. So guys, remember to like, subscribe, and to tell a friend about Real Talk. And Talky Talk is up next. And remember, stay tuned. You know I miss it. Thank you for staying with us. So guys, we have targeted this question before from a male's perspective. So now we want a female opinion on the matter. Joining me is Shanice Aniki Willis Mighty. Yes, I wanted to get all that name in. So Miss Mighty, welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you for having me.
And Shanice, we're going to jump right into it. So we hear your name, so we know that you are currently in a relationship. Am I right?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, so Miss Mighty, you are Mrs. or Miss?
Mrs.
Okay, Mrs. Mighty, what you feel going to do? Anyway, we just have a little girl talk. I'm going to talk the things them, because, we had a guest on earlier with the same topic, and he gave his opinion and him talking truth. So now it's your time from coming from a female opinion, from a female point of view, from a female view the question, what you bring to the table. So you represent. So, all right. So let us jump right into it. What do you think about the question, though? What you bring to the table? What do you think it truly means?
What someone brings to the table is basically what they have to offer in a relationship, no matter what exactly it is, whether from monetary point of view or individual point of view, their personality, their charisma, everything that they have, everything that they're about, that they want to bring to a relationship to form that bond with someone.
Okay. I like it already. Anyway, so we have a little scenario here going. So you went on a date, right? With this guy, and on the very first date, he wants to know. He's going to come to you and ask you, okay, Shanice, what you bring to the table? What you have to offer me? So how would you respond to his question?
Honestly, I would tell him I wouldn't want to be in a continue courting someone and I don't know what the person is all about. You're basically wasting your time when you can probably start to look again and start over instead of dragging you along to let you think that, okay, you're in this, and then at the end of the day, the person realizes that what you have to offer is not what they want. So I think that is something persons should put out there from the beginning, that this is what I'm about. I want to, in the future, I see myself having a business, owning my house, having children, getting married. Not everybody wants to be married. Not everybody wants kids. Not everybody know what their life goals are about. So, like, starting from the beginning to say, what are you about? What do you want? What are you looking for out of life? What do you want with me, actually? What are you looking for in a relationship? Those are some questions that persons need to put out there to just say, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm going to bring to the table. This is what I have to offer. This is what's in my mind. And then based on what the person's answer is, then you can then think to yourself, like, is this really the person I want to carry on with? Does this person have what I'm looking for?
Good.
Is this person offering what I want on the table? And then you can make that decision to say, yes, I'm going to carry on with this person.
All right, I could get a little personal. So you've been married for how long now?
Well, I've been married for 2 years, but my husband and I have been dating for probably about 11 years.
So in the inception of your relationship, what was it? Did you set the tone for your relationship? Did you ask your husband what is it that he's going to bring to the table? Or did he ask you what is it that you are going to bring to the table?
For me, I'm quite strong-headed. I'm level-headed. So even from a young age, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to become. I knew the career path I wanted. At first, I wasn't a person all about getting married and having kids. So I used to put that out there to him and say, listen, I'm not sure if I want to be married. I'm not sure if I want to have kids. But he was the type of person that is saying, yes, at the end of the day, he realized I was someone that he wanted to settle down with. And then we eventually started to talk about marriage to say, okay, we'll get married. And then we can more focus on having a child. So yes, from the beginning, we try to have those conversations like, how do we see ourselves in the future with each other? What do we think both of us have to offer to each other? How am I going to compliment him? How is he going to compliment me? How are we going to back each other? For relationships, we have to be best friends. So how am I going to be this person's best friend? And in every relationship, you have to compromise. How am I going to compromise with this person, with my offer versus his offer? So all of that, yes, it did come into play, and it's a matter of putting your offer out there, laying your offer out there, and both of you working with each other's offer, or just leaving each other alone to say, no, I can't match up to this offer at all. So that, yes, that's something we actually did.
So how your husband convinced you that, because you said at the beginning you were not in tune, none at all, with marriage and kids and so forth. But do you have any children, by the way?
Yes, one child.
All right. So how did your husband convince you then, or put his put his offer on the table that yes, I want you to be my wife?
Well, when we started to date, I would say I was quite a bit young, but we were there still, like, pulling through. The years were there just adding and adding and adding. But when I actually realized that, listen, this is probably my husband, is he has, like, been there with me through it all. We met when I was in sixth form, and then I went to university. He was there while I was studying. He basically sacrificed, like, working, going to school, ensuring that everything is okay on my side, and just trying to just be that person for me, like, be my person. And after finishing university, actually, and we're there now saying, okay, what are we going to do next? Because we're basically living at his family's house. So we're then thinking, what are we going to do? Are we going to try to find a place of our own? Are we going to get married? And all of that. And he has friends as well, very spiritual friends, that are saying, no, you guys can't be continuing like this. You guys need to think about marriage, or it doesn't make sense, and all of that. And my daughter also came into play, and I'm a person that strongly believes not to grow kids without both parents, because I grew up in a household where my mother and father were married. Most of my mother's side of family, my aunt and my uncle, they're all married with their spouses.
Right.
So it's like something that I'm used to. So for me, in the back of my head, do I want my child to grow up in a broken home? No, I didn't want that. So having a child, seeing our journey together, that actually made me come to the conclusion that it doesn't make sense. I'm lingering, might as well we do get married and just try to continue to build our relationship together based on what both of us have to offer.
Very good. I'm impressed with being a young couple, and you made such decisions based on what you were getting from your husband, because at the time he was not your husband, but you saw the qualities and you saw the stuff that he was bringing to the table, and you enjoyed whatever he was dishing out to you. So yes, that is very good. Anyway, let's get back to the question, because we divert and gone in your business. So yeah, so it's debated, right, that many men have said that women only offer sex or bring sex to the table. What's your opinion on that? Because we have done like a little survey, and most women said that that's what they bring to the table, sex. So as a female, and a strong black woman who's dominating your career field that you're in, how do you feel about this stigma that is being placed on women in a relationship?
Well, a lot of females allow men to think about them that way, to think that, listen, the only thing they have to offer is sex. Why? Because some persons don't know what they're about. Some persons don't know what their plan is for their future and all of that. So when they're in a relationship with a man and being totally dependent on that man, in the back of that man's mind, he's thinking, okay, only thing she has to give me is sex. A lot of females don't get that. Listen, you can plan that date for your boyfriend. Okay, call him. What are you doing? I'm taking you out. Let him know that, listen, you have other things to offer. You know how to let him feel like he's wanted as well. And it's not just about giving him sex. And it's most females think as well that bills in a household, it's just the man should pay the bills. I don't believe in that. I believe it can be 50-50 depending on exactly how much each other is earning. If the man is earning more and he wants to put 60, that's fine. I think the female should actually take some responsibility and at least, even if it's 20, even if it's 30, just bringing something else to the table apart from just saying, okay, I'm a female, I have a lovely body, let me just give this man sex because that is the only thing to satisfy him. A lot of females don't know that men nowadays are not thinking like that. I've seen many posts on social media where men are saying, listen, these females, they think we don't want someone that can wash, cook, and clean and take us out. They don't think that when Valentine's Day come, we want a gift. Yes, there are men that are thinking like that. So it's females now that need to just get that out their mind to say, listen, the only thing I'm bringing is sex. But there are other things that they can actually give to a man to show a man that, listen, they're appreciated and I have other things to offer than just giving you sex.
When we go flip the script, what about that man that is saying to you, okay, I am the protector, the provider, I want to be this in the relationship, and this man is saying, you're so strong, because you have some men who are very intimidated by a strong woman who has her worth, who knows her worth, who knows what she brings to the table, who's telling you this is what I want, and so forth and so on. But he would be saying, no, I am the provider, I am the protector. What would you say in a case like that to a woman that is pursuing, or this man is pursuing a very strong woman? What would you say in a case like that?
That's why I would go back to the beginning, where I think from the start, you will lay out what I'm going to offer, what I'm all about. And then at that point, we should decide whether or not you're going to be with this person. A man like that now, I think it's a matter of respect and respecting who that person is and what that person is about, and try to level the playing field to say, okay, I just don't want you to be going the extra mile, but you can do a little. And both of them basically coming together and compromising to say, yes, you're a strong woman and you may have your own, you're financially stable, but listen, I still want to do this much for you while you do this little, or whatever the case is. So it's really just from the beginning, as we were saying before, just telling what you're about and what you have to offer, what you're going to bring to the table.
How would you approach it if you're entering? I think you have answered this question before now, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit. How would you approach it if you're getting into a serious relationship and the person ask you what is it that you're bringing to the table, but it does not align with what he wants or what he is looking for in the relationship, but you are offering, this is what you're offering.
Sometimes what you're offering, the person doesn't want that. You know, persons can work towards what they want and work towards what they can offer in the future. But it's if that person is going to wait until you build up the new offer or have something else you want to bring to the table. Sometimes, as I said before, it doesn't make any sense because you're ending up wasting your time. Because you think in your head that, listen, all right, this is what I want to offer. And the person said, no, that's not what I want. What would you like? Okay, I would prefer this, this, and this. And I said, okay, I'll try to work on it for you. But at the end of the day, that's not you. That's not your personality. That's not what you're about. The person basically is not accepting you for you. And then for me, that's just like pretense. That's deceit. So instead of being deceptive, I think might as well you just put it aside and said, listen, this person is not accepting my offer. I'm just going to leave it. It's like you're applying for a job and you do the interview and they say to you, okay, I'm going to send you the acceptance letter and a job offer. And when you get that acceptance and they said, okay, can you read through and sign? And when you read through, you realize, I don't want to accept this offer. You're not going to do the job. The relationship is basically a job. Are you going to accept an offer to do this job when you know you don't like what is laid down on the table? No. So for me, if someone comes up with an offer that I don't like or you're not going to like, I think you shouldn't go with it.
Should just walk away.
Should just
walk away. Being a strong woman, right? And what I would want you to do now, you're going to pour some of that knowledge on your about relationship to our viewers. So you're going to pour into them. So being a strong woman, you're in a good relationship, a good place in your relationship, and you have laid the foundation for your relationship. What would you tell a woman now watching and she's in the teething stage of her relationship? What advice would you give her going forward in our relationship?
Always tell what you're about. Always tell what you're about. Always tell what you want, how you're going to see yourself. Always think about how does this person fit in my future? How does this person fit in my picture? How does this person, based on what this person has to offer, how is it going to come together with mine? Basically, in a relationship and getting married, as the Bible would say, it's basically a union. It's coming together. You don't want unequal yoke. That doesn't make sense. So it's more about communication, laying it down on the table, telling what you're about, telling what you want, and just ensure that whatever the offer the person has, you are willing to accept it.
And he's willing to accept your offer also. Well. Shanice, I just want to thank you for making it Real Talk Jamaica. And I know that you represented women out there well. Guys, Shanice is a registered nurse and she is the wife of my best friend. Yes. And guys, she is an awesome person. So Shanice, I just want to thank you for making it Real Talk on such short notice. Guys, don't move a muscle because Fix Up Yourself is up next. I'm no say you want to know what we're going to talk about there. So remember, stay tuned. Real Talk will be right back. Welcome back to Real Talk Jamaica, where no topic is off limits. Guys, remember to like and subscribe and tell a friend to tell a friend about Real Talk. And also remember to leave your comments and your question in the chat. Now, alopecia has been a constant topic. So today we are going to understand what this truly means. Joining me is instructor extraordinaire, Miss Janet Dixon. Miss Dixon, I'm going to allow you to introduce us and to tell us about yourself.
A beauty practitioner. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a beauty practitioner. I enjoy taking care of hair, skin, and nails. And I've been in the business a very long time. And that is why I was called upon this evening to tell you a little bit. I'm just going to give you an overview of alopecia because it's a wide topic, but I will narrow it down and I hope you will pick up a few points and look around and if you see anyone with that condition.
Okay, so first question, Miss Dixon, is can you explain what the term alopecia means?
Basic thing is hair loss. That's what it is. Because alopecia comes in a number of ways. Like you have traction alopecia, alopecia areata. So they have different definition because it comes in different forms. You want me to elaborate on some more?
Yes, some of the different forms.
Okay, some of the common forms are like alopecia areata. And that's just normal, it's hair loss. And then you have premature alopecia that could come on before middle age. A young person may just start losing their hair. And then you have alopecia senilis. That will happen in older persons, they lose hair. And then you have androgenetic alopecia, and that is really a male pattern baldness. All right, you have diffuse alopecia, that the hair will look very sparse, like you can see through it, and cicatricial alopecia that leaves scars, and that could be caused from some infection or so. And it usually happens to male and female during the menopausal period.
Okay, so how can we detect alopecia? Or is there a significant thing that we can look for, or each alopecia have its own signs?
Yes, if you're trained to identify, and if you're not sure as a beauty practitioner, you should send the person to a doctor, a dermatologist. But yes, when you study hair loss, you will be able to identify some of them. But there are different causes for the different types of alopecia. Like, for instance, some persons have autoimmune conditions. They have underlying conditions, and that can cause it. Things like thyroid problems. Even diabetes can also cause, because of the medication that they're taking, they can have hair loss. You also have what we call traction alopecia, right? Where, of course, if I was to wear my hair like this every day and sleep in a tight bun, or I braid my hair too tightly, I can get traction alopecia. Okay, so there's a number of ways in which alopecia can come about, and alopecia is just is hair loss, really. But there are different types of hair loss. Like, for instance, you have trichotillomania, and that is just persons who would sit down and just twine their hair and actually pull it out, right? And that could also be caused from some nervous condition, or again, some medication for another condition, and it creates hair loss.
Okay, very interesting, Miss. So how can we treat alopecia? Can it be treated?
It depends on the severity of it. Some will not grow back. Like, for instance, the androgenetic alopecia. It's usually hereditary conditions that cause that, or physical or chemical. Sometimes just the heat from the pressing comb or the flat irons can damage the hair follicle that bad that the hair don't grow back. Or the condition of the scalp. It can erode the hair follicle, cause so it will not, if the hair follicle is not healthy, you will not get healthy hair coming from it. So it's a number of things. Persons can be going through stress, anxiety, right? Some persons it's just hereditary condition, regardless of what. You know, some men, regardless of what, they're going to be bald. And some women, especially during the menopausal, they tend to take on the genes from their dad or their uncle or their grandfather, and then they have that condition, a male pattern baldness.
Miss Dixon, you mentioned follicles, so I'm assuming that some of my viewers, they don't understand what is a follicle. So could you just give us a little insight on what is a follicle?
It's a pocket that is in the hair, in the scalp and the skin, that causes that the hair grows up through. Along that hair follicle, you have your sebaceous gland and your erectile pili muscle. And at the base, at the root of the hair, this is all where the blood vessels are to nourish the hair. So if all of those things are not in place, then you will not get a healthy hair. And because of that, you can also have a form of alopecia.
Okay.
But not that it cannot be treated. It depends on the severity of it and how far it is, or if it's one of those that I mentioned earlier. Because if you have an autoimmune situation like lupus or so, you know, that condition can lead to, or you have a cancerous situation and you have to do medical treatment like radiation or so, you could lose the hair, but the possibility for some persons it will grow back. So it is so wide. It is not just one band-aid for alopecia. It's a wide area, a wide topic.
And say, okay, alopecia is this. We have different types, as you mentioned before, and there are also different treatments and other diseases, as you mentioned, can trigger alopecia.
That's right.
Okay, so
but then I also have in my overview that persons can wear prestige like topes and so on, or they can tattoo areas. And I must also say alopecia is not only on the head. It can be all over the body, and that is alopecia totalis,
right,
where you can lose the hair all over the body. So it's not just on the scalp. Some persons don't have any eyebrows or eyelashes if they are suffering from alopecia totalis.
Okay, going forward now, as alopecia come to someone's doorway, yet you have a person experiencing this condition. Would this condition affect this person's emotional?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to have a head of hair and turn it, and it will. And that is another stress, as I mentioned earlier. Anxiety, will my hair grow back? But sometimes we have to tell persons that it will not grow back. So we're going to have to look at the cosmetic side of it.
Okay.
Some persons, once they lose it, like androgenetic alopecia, that is male pattern baldness, that's it. So they will have to do extensions or, do positives.
Right.
And this is where you come in very well.
With my research with alopecia too, I have realized that persons who have like scar tissues, the hair.
Yes, that is a cicatricial alopecia.
Right. So the hair will not go back. And I think
and there are times when you can examine the scalp and know that it's not going back. So you just have to tell them, look, we have to accept this. Sometimes I may even have to go and see a therapist to accept the fact that this is what I'll have to live with.
Hair is not going back. What I normally do when I come across alopecia in my salon or so, what I'll do, when I examine the area, I always tell my clients to look, I get them involved in it too. I don't just say, yes, this is it. I get them involved and I say, okay, if we look closely on the scalp, we notice we are not seeing any.
Right, because
what I'll say, see any pores, because I use pores for them, and I say if you look closely on the scalp, you notice you're not seeing any pores. So that simply means that hair has a scar tissue over it, and the hair is not going to grow back. The area is shiny or things like that. I'll tell them to look for. And I normally, as I said before, I normally try to get them involved in the process. And I will send them to a trichologist or someone else who will be best able to help them.
Right. And that is why I like when you talk about getting them involved, because we have instruments now that we can actually show them. We're not just telling them, but they can actually see for themselves. And that will make it a little more convincing and easier for them to accept.
Right. Miss?
But it's not the end of the world having alopecia, because these days there's a wide variety of ways in which you can camouflage or, still look pretty.
Right. And we discussed that this can be passed down from generation to generation.
Oh yes, inherited. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Miss Dixon, I am very excited and that you join at short notice. And I must tell my viewers that Miss Dixon is my instructor from beauty school, and she has been my mentor. I call her the walking cosmetology dictionary, because there is nothing that any problem, I should say, I'm having, and I don't call her and she's there, okay, Quanna, we can do it like this or so and so. She always have a solution to a hair problem. So if you have any hair problem, listen to me. You need to get in touch with Miss Dixon. She is one of the best out there, and I think the best out there. Okay, so
thank you for all of that you're saying. I really appreciate that,
Miss Dixon. And guys, I do hope that you learn something about alopecia, and you know that it's not a death sentence if you're experiencing hair loss. Some we can treat in the salon, others we will refer you to a dermatologist or a trichologist. So don't be ashamed or afraid to ask for help. So Miss Dixon, I just want to thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for such short notice to just come on. So I just want to thank you. Thank you a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Miss. It's a storm around here, and I am here to weatherproof my tent. Guys, social media are going with a bag of things this week, and we have 3 top buzz. So right to it. The Oscars. Now, guys, you know that Chris Rock and Will Smith had a slight altercation at the Oscars. So Chris Rock was hosting the Oscars, and he made a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. You know, Jada did in the media for her little entanglement thing where she'd gone with. Plus, she had where she was talking about her struggles with alopecia. Anyway, Chris made a G.I. Jane joke, and it never sit well with Will. So Will walk up and box the taste out of Chris' mouth. Anyway, did you see how Chris was composed? I don't think that could ever be me, but newfound respect to Chris. Anyway, guys, you tell me what you think about the box we're going between Chris and Will. Who should be blamed?
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Now, Tiffany Haddish had to put a reporter in her place. Like, you know, a real stylish, good girl kind of way. She'd have just put her in her place. You know, she ever come said to her, oh, you had a costume change. Like, really, girl? I mean, buy my clothes. You could have brought this Versace. And me buy it. And this is what rich look like. You know, it's so Tiffany that for just do the thing and just put her in her place quietly. The reporter that go on. But we don't know, so she feel a little way. Cause, yeah, Tiffany just set her straight. I'm like, guys, tell me what you think. Look on Tiffany dress, or Tiffany dress are going with a bag of things. My girl, they look good, she look good, she look good. From head to toe, everything that's a going for her. She just look good, so.
Did you do a little costume change?
I'm not wearing a costume. I'm wearing Dolce & Gabbana. Oh. It's called an evening gown, darling. This is not, no one's paying me for this. I paid for it. It's custom. Thank you.
Time of death for me right now. You look gorgeous.
This is not an acting gig. This is my life. This what fame look like. This what success look like. This what money look like. This what it look like. It's what it look like.
This one had me cracking up. You know what say me love laugh for the things them and me a go laugh. So Tyler Perry him now. Me don't know where him take up for himself. And I tell him fans say. So I'm gonna give you a little backdrop about it. So he was doing like a polygraph test and they were asking him some questions. So them ask him say, so have you ever used the Madea voice in any way different or to talk to people or so? So he was saying no, but I guess the polygraph reading was saying that he was lying. Anyway, he finally admitted and said, listen to this now. And said he used the Madea voice during the intimacy. Then you can just imagine Tyler Perry say, nuts, murder! Yeah, manage. Anyway, guys, that's it for us with It a Buzz.
If you wish to advertise with us at Real Talk Jamaica, we have you covered. 10 seconds, low, $2,000. 15 seconds, reasonable, $3,500. And 30 seconds, we have you rated at $7,500. So call us or email us at Real Talk Jamaica and follow us on Instagram, and you can also DM us.
Wow, what a show. Guys, you got a different opinion about what you bring to the table. Plus, you got expert opinion on alopecia and what it really means and how it can be treated. So guys, remember now to like, subscribe, and to tell a friend just subscribe to Real Talk Jamaica. Quanna, Master Hairstylist, is signing out. Have a good week.
Thank you so much for joining us, and please remember to hit that notification bell and join us